In this lesson we're going to look at various definitions pertaining to matrices. In other words, we're going to look at the basic facts that you need to know in order to discuss matrices. A matrix is a rectangular array of numbers which are organized into horizontal rows and vertical columns. So that's the first thing to note, is that rows go across and columns go down. We'll see more of that later in the lesson. An example would be this matrix A. We can see it has 3 rows. Remember, rows are horizontal, and 2 columns. Columns are vertical. So we have 3 rows and 2 columns, and we say that A is a 3 by 2 matrix. We write it like this, 3 times 2, but we don't compute that and make it 6. 3 by 2 means 3 rows and 2 columns. So that's how we express the order or the size of the matrix. Capital letters are used to name the matrix. That's a convention. So here we used capital A. Each value in the matrix is called an element. So 6 is an element of the matrix. So is 1. Matrix A above has 6 elements. So to get the number of elements we can do the 3 times 2, but when expressing the size we write it like this, meaning 3 by 2. 3 rows by 2 columns. The order of a matrix tells us how many rows and columns it has. So the 3 by 2 is the order of the matrix. The order is expressed as m times n, where m is the number of rows and n is the number of columns. The number of rows must be stated first, so it's always m times n. The number of columns second. Order is important, and we'll see why in later lessons. Consider the table below, which shows the types of rooms available at 3 different hotels. So we have the hotels across here and the rooms down the side, single, queen, family suite. This can be shown as a matrix F. So F is 10, 5, 4, 36, 25, 18, 4, 1, 3, and we can see the information from here has just been pulled into the matrix. When making the table into a matrix, we lose the column headers and the row headers. Let's look at some different types of matrix. Here we have what's known as a column matrix. It just has one single column. This one has 3 rows. Therefore, it's a 3 by 1 matrix. 3 rows and 1 column. This is a row matrix. In this case, it has 4 columns. So it's a 1 by 4 matrix. So remember, a row matrix just has 1 row. A square matrix is a matrix that has the same number of rows as columns. So here we have a 2 by 2. Here we have a 3 by 3. And so a square matrix always has the same number of rows as columns. A 0 matrix has all elements equal to 0. And there's something called an identity matrix. We'll see the importance of that later on. And with an identity matrix, the leading diagonal, and the leading diagonal is the diagonal that goes down this way, so top left to bottom right, the leading diagonal is all 1s, and everywhere else is 0s. And we'll see why that's such an important matrix later on.